Here are 5 manga series that are going to become the best anime of 2026. Now, you guys are probably wondering, oh, he's just a guy who collects books, and who is this guy? Hi, I'm Kanamanga. I am a manga collector of just about 6 years, heading into year 7 in 2026. And I would like to share some of my series that I consider some of the ones that I enjoy the most and I think that are going to do great in 2026. So there are 3 ground rules that I need to set before we hop into this list. Rule number 1 is no season 2s. So no free rent, no JJK, no Oshinoko, at least in the winter season. So anything that already has that going for it, we will not be including in this list. The second rule is that it cannot be a spin-off or an IP that is already recognized. So by that disclaimer, that means JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run is off this list. Now, does that mean it's going to be a bad anime? No. It just means that it doesn't fit the criteria for this list, okay? Just don't yell at me. You could enjoy Gyro, you can enjoy Johnny. I'm all good for that. I'm probably going to be hyped for it anyways, but it just doesn't fit the criteria for this list. And the last thing is that it has to be confirmed to come out in 2026. There have been a lot of announcements that have happened in 2026 where essentially they'll say, hey, we're working on the anime, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming out. So that automatically disqualifies 2 series that I was going to talk about, which is Now That We Draw and Kindergarten Wars. I think those 2 series are going to be good, but I don't know when they're confirmed to come out. So maybe for a 2027 list, we will see in the future, but those are the 3 ground rules before we actually get started into our first series. So to kick off this list, we're going to be starting off with a series that I actually mentioned in the previous video. The last video we did was 10 new series you may have missed in 2025, but this new series is actually getting its anime debut in 2026. That series is Tune Into the Midnight Heart by Masakuni Igarashi. Now, this series follows Arisu Yamabuki, who was a fan of Apollo, who was a radio talent on the Midnight Heart Tune radio broadcast. Took me a second to remember that. One day, she went on hiatus, and several years later, he ends up hearing her voice over the PA system at his school. So Arisu goes to the broadcast room, kicks down the door, and finds out that it's one of 4 girls, all who have dreams of doing work and building a career off of their voices. One wants to be an announcer, one wants to be a musician, one wants to be a VTuber, and the other one wants to be a voice actress. So in order for Yamabuki to stay close, he makes this promise that he's going to help train each girl to be the best at their industry. But at the same time, he's also trying to figure out who is Apollo. Anime is set to come out in winter of 2026, and I'm personally excited to go ahead and finally see this happen in real time. So this next series is a manga that I initially dropped, but with its anime adaptation getting a really cool collaboration, I think it's going to do really well in 2026. And that series is Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. Now, this is a Yuri school life competitive gaming manga. That's a lot of different genres being thrown in here, but stay with me here. This series takes place at Kuromi Girls Academy, which is an all-women's boarding school for refined ladies. Aya, who is a scholarship student who has put her competitive days behind her, accidentally notices the school idol Shiranui in an empty classroom. Shedding the facade of the role model student that she gives off and that everybody loves, she is a foul-mouthed, trash-talking, hyper-competitive fighting game player. In order to be on good terms with her and also to kind of keep the peace, Aya reluctantly decides to join her and prove a point, saying that, once again, young ladies don't play fighting games. In the original manga, they used a fighting game that was just kind of generic. There wasn't like a lot of like really cool stuff going on here. And it was for good reason, obviously. You can't really copyright and use the same characters from a fighting game series without getting in legal trouble. But this is the cool part. Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games is now sponsored by Capcom. So all of the fighting game scenes are now replaced with footage from Street Fighter 6. I think that is an A+ job by the anime producers to, one, give it a feel of an authentic esports fighting game FGC kind of vibe, but by also still honoring the source material of 2 girls who want to compete, keep it under wraps, and keep it quiet from the rest of the school. If you guys liked Rock as a Lady's Modesty this year, this is the same thing, but instead of it being rock and roll, it's fighting games, and who doesn't love that? Now with the sponsorship from Capcom, I think it's going to be like a straight sleeper series. Young ladies don't play fighting games. Brand new series coming out in 2026. Make sure to check it out. So just to let you guys know, this is not my first rodeo trying to shoot something like this. I made a list all the way in March of last year where I predicted the best shows of 2025. And I kind of want to do a review of that because I think I did pretty good. This is going to be just a short segment. I promise we'll get back to the original video. But here are the 5 series that I mentioned from last year, and we're going to do a quick review of it, okay? The first was Medalist. Medalist is just a great series overall. It's about a young girl and a coach who is just trying to get her to learn figure skating even at an older age. It gives that whole vibe of like, keep trying, keep doing what you love. And you know, I get inspired by Medalist, and it's really good. It also has another season heading into 2026, so especially heading into the Winter Olympics, this is perfectly timed. So check this one out. I think it's good, and I think you should check it out. The next one, I hit it on the head with this one, okay? Gachiakuta. A lot of people, when I first put this out, said, oh, it looks like a series that is, you know, kind of rushed. It's literally trash. Why would I follow this? And then it came out in the summer, and it was the biggest thing ever. And I told them, I was like, yo, this is going to be done by Studio Bones. It's done by an author who was an assistant under Okubo, who did Fire Force and Soul Eater. And the series is good. It's so aesthetically pleasing to look at. I thought it was S tier. And to be honest, my producer put me on this first, and he was like, check this out, you're gonna like it. And I did, and I love it. And I got this one. This is actually a first printing of Gachiakuta, and I've been a fan of it ever since. So yeah, this knocked it out of the park. The next one was also one of the biggest series of 2025, and I guessed it all the way back then. It was Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. A lot of people are like, oh my god, I thought he's a shonen nerd. He only reads shonen and seinen. How dare he throw in a very well-polished, like a romance series? I did, and I thought it was going to be great because I read it first. I was like, this is going to be a wholesome series that people are going to latch onto. People are going to enjoy it. The only thing that I was a little bit hesitant about was the fact that it was a Netflix release, because they tend to batch release and then it doesn't build the hype to it. But I'm glad that people actually cashed in on this, okay? So Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I think I hit that nail on the head perfectly. This next one is my favorite series, one of my favorite series of all time. That series is Wandance, okay? I mentioned and I hyped the series up so much, but I feel like Madhouse did a great job in terms of like hitting the narrative beats on the series. I just don't think that the dancing part, oh god, the dancing part by Cyclone Graphics just wasn't what I was asking for, okay? The last series that was originally on that list that was actually pushed back to this year is actually the next series on this list. So the last series on that most anticipated of 2025's list was Witch Hat Atelier by Kamame Shirahama. This is a magical girl. It's got girls and magic, but not in your typical Maho Shoujo way. A quick summary of this. Coco is a simple girl living a simple life, but she wishes to learn magic and become a witch. One day, a wizard named Kifri stops by her family shop to get some clothes repaired. But while they're repairing his clothes, she ends up spying on him as he's performing magic, and she figures out the secret to magic, which is essentially drawing seals and runes. Being excited by that discovery, she tries to recreate a spell that night, but accidentally casts a spell that starts to rapidly crystallize her home and even catches her mom in the crossfire. Luckily, Kifri was there to recover Coco and actually sit her down and try to teach her the secrets behind magic and the dangers that it carries while trying to still figure out how to save Coco's mom. Now, it's a very tragic start, but honestly, it is a very cute found family kind of deal as well. You have Kifri, who is the professor, aka Better Gojo. I'm gonna make that call now. The art style of Kamame Shirahama is very, very tough to recreate. If you guys love the manga, I'm interested in seeing how they're gonna adapt it for the anime, but I do have faith in the studio. The studio for the series is Bugs Films. They are the same people who did Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, and I loved the whole color design of Zom 100. And I'm hoping that they're able to capture that with Witch Hat Atelier as well. This series is set to come out in spring of 2026. So we will see how it comes out and how well it does and how it's received by the anime community. So the fourth series on this list is actually a romance series that I've been enjoying quite a bit. It's been kind of under the radar for a minute, but it now has an anime adaptation and I think people are going to catch on to it. So that series is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. And this is a daily life adult cast romance. So this series follows Sasaki, who is a middle-aged, like stressed out office worker. And he only finds comfort in going to his local convenience store and running into this cheerful, upbeat cashier named Yamada. After one specifically stressful day at work, he ends up going to the supermarket only for Yamada to not be there. And he leaves disappointed that night, but he ends up striking up a conversation with a young woman behind the supermarket named Miss Tamaya, who invites him out to smoke behind the supermarket with her. Hence the title. This is just one of those cute series of oblivious old man doesn't know that his cheerful cashier lady is also this like rugged goth girl behind the supermarket. And he can't put the two and two together. And it's great. I love it. It's set for 2026. It says that it's coming out in 2026. We don't know which season yet. And we also don't know which studio it is yet. I enjoy it quite a bit. And I think that the people are also going to hop in on this train once it finally gets adapted and animated. So before we hop into our final entry on this list, I just want to say thank you guys for a great 2025. If you guys like the kind of content that we're putting out right now, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Highly helps me out, but also helps you guys circle back to this list when we inevitably either find out that this list aged like wine or aged like milk. Honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys do, feel free to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and there should be more stuff like this heading down the line. Hi there, Future Kanamanga here. I totally forgot to add a series to this list because honestly, I'm dumb. So consider this an honorable mention before we head into the final series on this list. This anime is a rom-com action series that has been running in Shonen Jump's monthly publication and is one of the series that I was super excited to see get announced at Jump Festa this year. And that series is Marriage Toxin. Hikaru Gero, the master of the Poison Clan, is tasked by his grandmother to continue the bloodline by finding a potential partner. The awkward part is that Gero only knows poison. One night he is assigned to take out Mei Kinosaki, who is a marriage swindler, who is stealing money to pay for their brother's medical bills. Instead of completing his mission, however, Gero ends up recruiting them to help him with his relationship struggles. So the big question of the series is, can Kinosaki turn this cold-blooded killer into an eligible bachelor? This series mixes high intense action scenes with relationship struggles and awkward dates, and honestly that latter part is what makes this character so relatable. I am looking forward to Marriage Toxin's anime debut, which is slated for spring of 2026. And with that wraps up my honorable mention for this list. Now let's get back to the main video. So my final entry in my best anime of 2026 prediction list is a series that has been coming out of Shonen Jump for the past few years. And that series is Akane Banashi. This series is a Rakugo, career-driven, coming-of-age tale that follows Akane Osaki, who is a young girl who is watching her dad perform the Japanese storytelling art called Rakugo. After her father performed his heart out and is trying to get promoted to master rank, the man who is supposed to promote him expels him instead. Now, 6 years later, Akane is now a high schooler and wants to follow in her father's footsteps, but in turn also wants to prove that she could climb the ranks of Rakugo and prove that her father's storytelling art is not fake. This is such a great series, not only as a quote-unquote revenge story, but also just because the characters are so driven to become the best at what they do. One of my favorite animes of all time is Descending Stories Rakugo Shinju, and Akane Banashi feels like a great spiritual successor in terms of series that take Rakugo seriously and is still teaching the audience a lot about that realm. This is what I love about Akane Banashi. It is a series that has such a shonen premise of I want to be the best at this art and at this style, but also continues the tradition of layered storytelling from other series that have done Rakugo before. Akane Banashi is a great series coming out of Shonen Jump. Might not be the most flashy in terms of swords and all that stuff, but the characters and the stories that are told are so good. And with that, here are the best animes of 2026. I know that there's going to be a lot of shows that are coming out. I know that there's going to be a lot of season 2s that are going to take the spotlight, but I do believe in these series, and I think that they all have something that people are looking for. And I feel like these series have the potential to be great. If not, they could be the diamond in the rough of the season. You know, we have a lot of shows that end up falling to the wayside, but get rediscovered later. I feel like these could also fit in those categories. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.